We've learned how to configure cross-origin for a specific method in our REST controller, and we've also learned how to configure cross-origin for entire REST controller. But there is also a more global way to configure cross-origin, which allows us to configure cross-origin for all the REST controllers in our application. And in this video, we will learn how to do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out cross-origin from my REST controller, and I'm going to configure it on a global level. I'm going to expand my project, Mobile App Web Services, and then expand the source main Java package. And I'll go to my root package of my web application, kind of the upper level that I have here. And I will create a new class, new Java class, and I will call it something like web config, like this. Click on finish. Now this class is going to be a configuration class, so I will add an annotation, configuration, and I will need to import this annotation. Okay, and this class will need to implement WebMVC configurer, and I will also need to import the WebMVC configurer, and we will need to override one of the methods that it has. I'll paste it here, and this method is called add CORS mappings. Let me import CORS registry. Okay, so this method add CORS mappings takes in the registry object which we can configure, and this registry object allows us to configure mappings and allowed methods and headers and origin, different things. So let's say we want to configure the mappings. I'll put dot and then I will select add mappings, and here we will need to provide a path pattern. If I wanted to configure a CORS for my particular REST controller and a method in that REST controller, then I will start with / and then, for example, the path mappings for my REST controller is called users, and then / mapping to my method. Let's, for example, switch to user controller. And here we have the request mapping for the entire REST controller. And then we were working with email verification. So I can go and copy the path for email verification from here. And this is how I can configure the CORS for email verification method, like this. But if I want to provide CORS configuration for all the REST controllers, then I'll use asterisk and then asterisk again for all the REST controllers and for all the methods inside of those REST controllers. And I can continue configuring registry object by using dot. And here, for example, I can add allowed methods that I want my CORS to have. So I will select allowed methods, and by default, all HTTP methods are allowed. HTTP GET, HTTP POST, all of them allowed. But if I wanted to provide specific methods, then I will type them in here like this, get, and then I will use comma, and then I will use post, and then I will again separate it with comma and add, for example, put. Let me put it on a new line, and let me put this on a new line as well so that it's visually better formatted. But if I wanted to allow all of the methods, I would either not configure allowed methods at all or simply use asterisks. And we might also want to configure origins. So I will use allowed and then choose allowed origins. And if there is a specific origin that I want to allow, I will type it here. But if I want to allow all of the origins, I will use asterisks again, like this. And once I'm done configuring, for example, I can use semicolon, and this will be it. So let me put it on a new line, save my configuration class, and I can try running my application and see how it works. So let me start it as a Spring Boot app. Okay, my application started. I will go to Safari browser, and I will refresh my application to see if it works. And here we go. We got our breakpoint triggered, which confirms that our CORS configuration works. Let me resume debugging and switch back to my project. Okay, so now we know how to configure CORS configuration on a more global level using a new configuration class that implements web MVC configure. And here we can configure mappings for all the REST controllers that we have created in our RESTful Web Service application and all the methods inside of those REST controllers. Okay, so let's continue.